Hello YouTube, this is MrShiningTime. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I made a video, a couple months actually I think. But I really wanted to come on here and make this video today because now that the school year has started, I really want to be more productive and try to get out of the semi-comatose state that I was in during the summer. But anyway, I got a bunch of new subscribers since that time. Thanks for listening and giving me feedback on my videos. I was watching Pink Elephant's one of Pink Elephant's videos, and I've been following this guy for a while. He makes a lot of very rational videos. The reason why I like Pink Elephant's videos is because he approaches the problems in the African American community from a rational standpoint, from a realistic standpoint about what is actually going on the ground. What is the situation on the ground? How do we tackle that and move from there? I don't subscribe to people who are like, we need Jesus to do this, or the black man is connected to the universe through some all-powerful spiritual force, and we need to get back to the Mother Earth. No, I don't even go with that stuff. I listen to people who are grounded in reality, and that is the subject of this video that I wanted to make. Because, to be quite honest with you, a lot of our people have their head in the damn clouds, and they're living off in fucking, I don't know where, fucking Disneyland or Fantasy World or something. People just are completely and utterly detached from reality and what is going on the ground. This is what we need to look at, and this is why it's so important that we need to have schools for black children that specifically deal with the black experience here in America and around the world. Because when you can't get the knowledge disseminated to the people, especially the young kids growing up, and they don't know what's going on. I mean, if you don't have adult guidance to be there, to focus the mentality of the children on what they need to be learning and reading, then, I mean, what hope do we have, for the future generation to want to build? I'm not a pessimist. The black community is not stagnant. There's a lot of people making moves in the black community. A lot of forward-thinking, progressive people who are making moves and moving forward with or without the rest of the black community. But we need more. That is a problem. We don't have enough people like that who are moving forward. But I want to get back to, one of the guys on this video replied to me talking about some nonsense, about nonconformity, and because we're black, we should be nonconformists. Look, okay, let me just rewind and give you the backstory about how this started. I made a comment on one of the videos talking about a friend of mine who had some tattoos on his arms, and there were some derogatory tattoos. There were offensive words on his arms that he got tattooed on his arms. And I got into a conversation with my friend about this, and he just said, it was something he did when he was younger and wilder, and he doesn't regret it, but regardless, he shouldn't be discriminated against because of that. And back to what I was saying, in a perfect world, yes. In a utopian society, yes. You could have tattoos on your face, neck, hands, arms, whatever, and everyone would judge you only based on the content of your character. But we don't live in a utopia. We don't live in a perfect world. We live in the real world. We live in an imperfect world. A world where you have to consider the consequences of your actions. And let me be honest with you, the only salvation for black people is to play the game, to beat the people in charge at their own game, because that's the only game in town. And that game is economic power, economic advancement. Who's scrambling to the mountain to get the most share of what's going on. Now, you can agree, you can disagree, you can be one of these people who thinks that we should completely and utterly abandon the capitalist economic system. But if you do that, then what are you replacing it with? Where are your resources coming from? And people are just not realistic in the black community. Look, if you have tattoos on your arms, I'm not going to hire you. I'm trying to run a business here. Okay? I'm trying to run a professional business here. And you got derogatory words tattooed on your... I mean, just think about it for a minute. How would you feel if you went into a bank to go deposit your hard-earned money, and the person behind the counter has got, you know, all kinds of crazy shit tattooed on their arms and neck? You're going to be like, what's going on? You know, what kind of bank is this? What kind of people are they hiring here? You want professional-looking people to be handling your money. You need people who look serious about their job. Now, I'm not saying everyone with tattoos are criminals or vagabonds or whatever, but that's just the reality of the world you live in. You're judged based upon your appearance. And people need to get that in their head. We need to start living in reality. They say, okay, the Howard School of Business is banning dreadlocks on their students in the 5-year business program. And I agree. In a perfect world, no, people will not judge you based upon whether you have dreadlocks. But that's not the way the world works. Again, you got a lot of black people out there who are going off and trying to rewrite the whole entire rules of the game. And just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna be a part of that. I'm gonna go off here and make my own rules or do whatever the fuck I want. And that's not progressing the black community. There's only one way forward, and that is through economic advancement, economic independence, economic self-sufficiency. When we get that built, then we can make our own. When we get a system built first, then we can make the rules about who and what, who gets hired and what these people can look like. But until then, you're gonna have to, you know, conform somehow and come back to reality. I mean, I'm trying to put together a business deal with China. I fly you over to Beijing. Who's gonna take you seriously over there when you look like a thug off the streets? When you look like, you know, they don't have any contact with black people over there. They don't know what black people are like. So they're gonna judge you right off the bat based upon your appearance, how you speak, how you conduct yourself, how you carry yourself. And you got tattoos all over your neck and arms. Nobody's taking you seriously. That's just the reality of the situation. And I'm going to be straightforward and honest with you. If I own a bank and I'm trying to do some serious work to get an economic system set up, I'm not going to hire you just because you're black. You walk into the bank and say, yo, let me get a job. You know, I'm not... You're out of your mind if you think I'm going to hire you just because you're black. It's about what can you produce? What image do you put forth? And you know, people just don't understand that sometimes. And I'm not putting any blame on anyone, because we don't have a system set up. We don't have an education system set up that teaches the black children what they need to do to succeed in the world. And this is a larger failure of the American education system, really, because they're not teaching anyone how to succeed in the world. What you need to do to be economically viable. And it's frustrating, man, when I'm dealing with people, you know, the Sergeant Willie Pete calls them the nuts and berries folks. It gets frustrating dealing with them. Because no matter how much you try to be rational and try to be like, look, this and this and this is what needs to get done, they're talking about, oh no, you know, you sell out, you conformist. And I'm like, you're not getting into the door, you're not putting anything together unless you try to be a part of the system in some way. Now, if you have no intention to be a part of the system and you just want to do whatever the fuck you want, that's fine. But if you're talking about advancing black people in the future, then you're going to have to be a realist. The economic power in the world is shifting towards Asia. And there's a lot of economic opportunity in Africa as well. Just as much economic opportunity in Africa. And this is another thing that we need to be teaching our children, that there is economic opportunity in Africa. You know, I was having a conversation with my father the other day. We were at my cousin's wedding, and after everything was winding down, you know, me and him got to talking, and he was like, you know, I'm putting things together in Nigeria. You know, I'm making business moves over there, and you know, he was telling me that he wished more people over here would invest money back there in Africa. African Americans are the richest group of African peoples on this entire planet. The richest group. We account for over $600 billion in spending each year. Where the fuck does our money go? Ask yourself that. Where the fuck does our money go? To materialistic consumer items. When there's people in Africa who are trying to put businesses together, who can't get loans over there because they don't have no access to funds. We can build factories over there. Plenty of labor. Nigeria has almost 200 million people. Skilled, educated people. Skilled, educated, sophisticated people who can get the work done in a modern economy. But you don't want to look there. You don't want to look back to Africa, to your kin, to your brothers, to your cousins. You don't want, I mean, Umar Johnson said it, Africa is the salvation. Marcus Garvey said it 100 years ago. Africa is the salvation for black people. And we need to be more realistic about how we see ourselves and about our fate going forward. And I hate to say it, a lot of people are going to be left behind. It's just the way it is. A lot of people are just not going to do anything. They're going to sit on their ass and do the whole nigga shit, and they're just going to get left behind. And like I said, I'm not a pessimist, but I'm also not that optimistic about a lot of people either. Some people are moving forward, but there's a whole lot of people who are just stuck on bullshit. We have hundreds of African Americans in the 1%. Hundreds that are a part of the 1%. They're called athletes. A lot of entertainers are part of the 1%. If these people, if you could get a dozen or 2 dozen of them together, high earners, they could put a bank together. It would take a lot of resources, but that's why you need people in the 1%. And they could put a bank together. They could get a hedge fund together. We need more people. We need more entrepreneurs like Jay-Z and 50 Cent, and less people like Oprah. We need more people actually buying up and creating wealth. Not just rich people living in the burbs. We need people with wealth who own things. This video is getting long. That's all I wanted to say. Leave your feedback. Thanks for all my new subscribers. That's it. I'm out.